What's one comeback you've used in life that was so smooth you still grin when you think back on it? I'm usually in SAP, but I was sitting in a coffee shop with some friends, plus a few people I didn't know. The girls in the group started talking about the types of guys they are into. This girl I just met said I don't know what it is, but I really love when guys are dicks to me. And before she could finish her next sentence, I say, holy shit, are you still talking? Everyone looked at me like in complete shock, but the girl gave me a grin of approval. I was conversing with a friend about video games in the school cafeteria when a loud, overweight girl starts, loudly, talking about how all guys who play video games are nerds. I shoot her a look, and say I guess I'm a nerd then. She rolls her eyes, and says tell me something I don't know, freak. Off the top of my head, I reply salad tastes good. I was at a bar, at a table, with some friends. A group of women, looked to be in their early 50s, sitting at a nearby table, completely hammered, which normally wouldn't be an issue. Only these ladies were literally gutting younger women with insults as they passed by, trying to see how many they could make cry. After about an hour or so of this happening, these women start looking for men to take home. I know this, because they were nice enough to announce it out loud to the entire bar, every few minutes. One of the women, a blonde that happened to be the ringleader of this group, kept looking over at me, trying to capture my attention. Not being overly attracted to obnoxious, I ignore this woman, which only makes it worse, and only makes her angrier. So, she gets up and walks over to her table. Tells me that she's going to the bathroom, and that I better be there when she returns, because I'm going home with her. To which I say, it's not happening. But she ignores me, and makes her way to the bathroom. On her way back, she walks past me, and loudly exclaims dick, so everyone at her table and my table can hear. To which I respond, oh mom, you know how you get after 2 drinks. She turned around, and I've rarely seen a woman so pissed off. She started screaming something I couldn't make out, which attracted the bouncer, who promptly kicked her out. Everyone clapped. And I drank the rest of the night, for free. I was a witness to a murder in which I was one of the people that they tried to kill. Years later, after it happened, I get a call I needed to testify as they had caught the assholes. After several minutes of questioning, the DA asked me what I was thinking after they shot at me. Thinking to myself, how you answer a blatantly obvious and ridiculous question, the only response I could come up with was shit. The entire court started laughing, including not only every juror, but the DA, the defense attorney, and the judge. Even the stenographer was laughing so hard she stopped typing. I'm fairly certain I'll never get another zinger like that again. I used to work at this pizza joint that would stay open late on the weekends to hit the bar crowd. The pizza was New York style, so 18 pie was standard, and slices were as big as your face. A pair of guys came in and ordered a slice each of the meat lovers pizza, which came out to like $4.75 a slice. Now, I get it that one might find this pizza to be pricey, but the number of toppings we put on it made up for that, so I thought. These guys began throwing a fit about it, and we defended ourselves, saying that we didn't set the prices, and we're sorry, but that's how it is, we have to eat too. One of the guys looks at my co-worker, who is a big overweight, and goes, well, you look like you're eating well, pays for the slice, and sits down to eat it. 5 minutes later, I walk out with a slice for a different customer who asked to have his slice warmed in the oven, and as I turn around to go back behind the counter, those 2 guys are standing right in front of me, and get all up in my face. The one guy from before goes, we're going to leave our garbage on the table of your ass to clean up, cause your pizza is too expensive. I looked him right in the eyes and said, you come rolling in here wearing your Dolce & Gabbana bullshit sunglasses, ready to pay $8 for a shot of pucker, and you're going to complain about $5 pizza. Get the fuck out of my restaurant. As I said that, the guy looks around the whole restaurant that is now staring at us, and starts doing the whole and all of a sudden, the whole restaurant erupted into a bunch of whoa, and people were clapping. It was amazing. The owner always told the guys running the bar shift that they could say and do whatever they needed to in order to get someone to leave that was being rude or disorderly. I took that privilege very seriously. Had about 13 shots of tequila at my mother's birthday party. A man that was interested in her showed up. He was the stereotypical redneck, very narrow-minded conservative Republican, judgmental, stubbornly and willfully ignorant, falsely quoted the Bible, etc. Anyway, he made the mistake of talking to me. He kept boasting about how he's a proud redneck, but tried to tell me that there were classy rednecks and trashy breeds. My response was, oh, I wonder what's the difference between the two. Do the classy rednecks frame their Confederate flags instead of using them as curtains? It was a fantastic night. I'm normally a very polite girl. I was in middle school. This one guy, let's call him Ben, was bullying the fat kid in my grade in the locker room after our gym period while everyone was changing. Let's call the chubby guy Chris. What was strange was this bully was smaller than Chris, but still managed to push him around and make him feel like shit. At one point he cornered Chris and just kept acting like he was about to take a swing at him, just waiting for Chris to wince or flinch. I was really annoyed at how little of a fuck everyone was giving about this, so I went to the bully who was my size and just pushed him against the wall. He punched me on my arm and just said, "Fuck off, Hindu guru, your mother is a cunt." Honestly, I don't know how I thought of this, but I almost immediately responded saying, "Tell your mom to stop changing her lipstick, my dick is turning rainbow." Cause we were in middle school, everyone just went to Ben just shut his ass up and went back to his locker. Haven't had a smooth comeback since. Not mine but my sister's. She was about 4 and wanting to play kitchen in her room. She grabbed some cereal boxes from the kitchen and put them in her room. My mother, in trying to explain why it wasn't acceptable, said the cereal will bring ants. "Do you want ants in your room?" My sister, not missing a beat, replied, "Do you want ants in your kitchen?" This story still gets brought up at family gatherings 20 plus years later. Walking home from high school in the summer, and some fat kid and his friends saw me from across the street. The fat kid yells, "You have huge tits," to which I responded, "Not as big as yours," and gave him a nice little smile, and walked away as his friends laughed at him. I work in a supplement store. One night, as I was nearing the end of my shift, and getting tired of talking to people, a young guy and his buddy walk in, and the guy decides he's going to be Mr. Funny Man and make jokes about all the products. I hate when people do this, because A, the jokes are never funny, and B, I've heard them all before. So, after humoring a few somewhat obnoxious quips from him, the guy grabs a fat burner off the shelf, and holds it up at me. "Oko, look at this one. Hey, miss, is this going to make me look way better?" To which I replied, without missing a beat, "I really hope so." His buddy and the other guys in the store just started cracking up. I hadn't meant to sound so bitchy, it just sorts of came out that way. My stepdad was having a Christmas dinner party a few years back for the law firm at the house. One of my stepdad's friends had just been talking shit all night, little comments here and there about me, you could call it teasing. At first, I brushed it off, because he was drunk, but it got to me after a while. Anyway, we're all eating at the table, and he's sitting across from me. His date is at the end of the table, to the right of me. Everyone was talking, and somehow the conversation steered towards me about to make it a long-distance thing with my girl, because I was moving for college. So, the dude starts talking shit, saying something along the lines of, "You're so young to be pussy whipped. When I was your age I had all sorts of fun, but now I'm old blah blah." It was almost awkward. Then the date gently grabs his bicep and says, "It's okay, I like my men, how I like my wine," and me without skipping a beat, "You like them extra fruity." The whole dinner table, like 15 of us, just started laughing hysterically. The guy got mad. He was like, "Why would you call me that?" And I sarcastically said, "I don't know, why would I call you that?" The dude was very eccentric, and a bit flamboyant, so it just bothered him, I guess. So, he demanded I answered him, and I was like, "Chill out man," so he got more upset, and demanded I answer him or else. So, I stood up, and was like, "Or else what?" He stands up, and I fake punch his ass. He totally flinched, so my stepdad starts laughing, tells him to calm down before he gets his panties all up in a bunch. Dude stormed off outside. He was totally embarrassed. They still make fun of him to this day, how he got punked by a high school kid. The truth is, I'm usually pretty quick on my feet, but I at least think what I'm going to say. This one just spat out my mouth. I didn't even realize I said it. It's like that's what she said, I just say it after anything naturally. It just so happened that it was a perfect setup to what seems to be a sensitive subject for that dude. Every time I think about it, all I see is success baby in my head. This wasn't particularly brilliant, but it happened recently enough that I can still remember it as I sit here on my ratty futon on a Friday night, drinking and crediting. I was walking my dog in the middle of a really narrow, almost empty sidewalk. I saw an elderly lady approaching me, so I started to get off to the side to let her pass as we got closer to each other. She scowled at me and said, excuse me, where are you going?" "Just to the park over there. Why do you ask?" "Well, you need to stay the hell on the right when you're walking." It was a beautiful, perfect day, but all she could focus on was the fact that I was walking in a way that was not totally to her liking. I looked at her with the biggest shit-eating grin I could muster, and cooed, "Wow, you're so old and angry," and I walked off. I'm getting ready to leave happy hour, and see that my coat is still on the bar stool that I was at earlier, but now is being sat on by the CEO, and my bag was on the bar next to him. So, I walk over and somewhat sheepishly, I was pretty low on the totem pole, say excuse me to get my coat, and when I go to grab my bag, he grabs it and says, winking at the CFO, "It's cool, we've already been through your bag, there's no money in there." Without even thinking I said, "Yeah, we're going to have a talk about that." They burst out laughing, and after that, I was cool with the CEO. True story. The first time my dad left bruises on me, hitting me and holding me down by my neck to keep me from fighting back. He made some comments similar to, "Apparently I'm going to have to limit your visitation rights with your mother." He thought she was the reason for my recent argument with his bitch of a girlfriend at the time. I looked him dead in the eye, tears streaming down my face, and said, "No, Dad's name, there is only one thing that is apparent here, and it is most certainly not you." I was 14. Getting the standard haze the new guy treatment at a fast food place. The guy training me, guy had games that revolved around groping the new guys, was watching me learn grills and commenting on my big hands. "I'm 6'8", man, you have big hands. You can hardly hold those tongs. Must suck, right? I bet it's hard to jack off like that. You find it hard to masturbate with those big hands, Ulrus." I'm here just taking it and trying to concentrate on the work and half-heartedly mumble, "Shall in proportion, mate," and he is just gobsmacked. Fairly sure I earned his respect with that one comeback. That said, he was hardly a guy you needed the approval of. He later got booted for making out with an underage employee at the Christmas party. I made a Jewish joke on my friend's Facebook status, and some guy called me out on it. We didn't know that we were both Jews at the time. After trolling the hell out of him, my friend told me he was Jewish. My response after finding out he was a fellow Jew who happened to be angry over my trolling him was this: "You mad hero." I don't have any of my own, but I can tell you a couple that I heard other people make. 1. Don and Vern were two coworkers, both nearing retirement age, who liked to tease each other about getting old. One day Vern was walking around the office with his fly open, until Don pointed it out to him, and then he zipped up. Vern quipped, "Well, you know what they say, it pays to advertise." Don answered, "What are you advertising?" "The going out of business sale." 2. John and Artie were two physics students. John had spent a lot of time setting up an experiment, which then went wrong somehow. John was moaning, "Why does this always happen to me?" "Maybe it's because you're stupid," said Artie. Artie always tried to make some wise-ass remark, although he usually wasn't very clever. John was used to this. He weakly protested, "Artie, that was a rhetorical question. It doesn't require an answer." Artie replied, "Well, that was a rhetorical answer. It doesn't require a question." I had this lime green button-up shirt in college, and it was just kind of bright and attention-grabbing. Whenever I wore it, girls would tell me about how much they love it, and how good I looked in it. One night I was out with my roommate's girlfriend, and some of her friends, and this short jackass who felt the need to prove himself said, "Hey, nice gay green shirt." My roommate's GF, who was fucking hilarious and gorgeous, replied right on beat, "That shirt makes me want to suck his dick." Then her friend I had never met said, "Me too." They didn't actually want to, but it was awesome, and he shut the hell up. I was playing in a championship soccer game a couple years ago, and my team had to play with only 7 players, because the other team wouldn't let us call anyone up for the game. There was a lot of animosity between both teams, because there had been a couple fights earlier in the season. So, we went into the game kind of being the underdog, because we were playing short-handed. We basically played our asses off, and absolutely took it to this team. The other team knew that they were probably going to lose, so they were getting really pissed off. Anyways, we scored a goal to make it like 4-1, and they thought it was offside, and the goalie was yelling and said whatever, they probably fucked the ref last night. As soon as the last word left his mouth, I immediately said yeah, and he squeals like your mom does. He looked absolutely shocked that I had said that so quickly, and he couldn't even reply. He just walked to his net, head down. My parents were at the game, and both my dad and stepdad started laughing loudly and clapping, saying that's my boy, great feeling. A few years ago, I was working at an eye doctor's place that sold glasses and contacts. We had some crazy deals going on at the time, and the lab was weeks behind, and we were constantly fucking up people's glasses, and just flat out forgetting to process certain orders. Well, one stressful evening nearing close, this long-haired Vietnam vet walks in and asks for his glasses. After searching for a half hour or so to no avail, one of the newer employees asks me to talk to him. I asked his name, and she say it's Mr. Brandman or something similar, so I walk over there and say, Mr. Brandman, I apologize, but we haven't yet processed your glasses. And before I could finish, he cuts me off and goes, no, not Brandman. My name is Gantman, as in grant me a wish, Manning, and find my goddamn glasses. I froze for like 15 seconds or so, just blinking at this guy in disbelief, before walking back in the lab and demanding that his glasses be processed immediately. I told the lab guys about how hard I got burned, and they had his glasses ready in 20 minutes.